Last year, someone's words cut me so deeply, I couldn't sleep for weeks. I replayed the moment over and over, letting it poison everything. Then, I discovered a 2,000-year-old Zen story that changed everything. It's called The Empty Boat, and what it taught me about pain might be the most important thing I ever share with you. Picture this: ancient China, dawn breaking over misty waters. A young monk glides silently in his small wooden boat. The only sound, the gentle lapping of water against wood. His eyes close, his breathing slows. Perfect peace then. Crash! His body lurches forward as another boat slams violently into his. The impact echoes across the water. In an instant, rage floods through him. His jaw clenches, hands ball into fists. How dare they, he thinks. Who would be so careless, so disrespectful? He rises, words of anger ready on his lips, and turns to confront the person who shattered his tranquility. But what he sees stops him cold. The boat that hit him is empty. No captain, no passenger, just an abandoned vessel, broken free from its moorings, carried by currents it couldn't control. And in that moment, something profound shifts. The anger that burns so hot dissolves. Why? Because there was no intention, no malice, no harm aimed at him personally, just two objects meeting by chance on the water. That evening, still thinking about it, he visits his master's quarters. The old teacher listens, then smiles with knowing eyes. "You've stumbled upon life's greatest secret," he says. "Most boats that crash into us are empty." His weathered hand sweeps toward the world beyond their walls. When someone's words wound you, when actions hurt you, when they disappoint your expectations, these are empty boats. They carry their own currents, their own storms, rarely steered at you. He leans closer. The pain of the collision is real, but the suffering comes from the story you create about why it happened. The monk frowns, but some people do intend harm. Some boats are not empty. True, the master nods, but far fewer than you believe. And even when the boat carries a passenger, they are usually steering from their own pain, their own fear, their own desperate need. Their course has little to do with you. He smiles gently. This is where your freedom lies. In the months that follow, the monk begins to see empty boats everywhere. When a fellow monk criticizes his posture instead of shame, he wonders, what current carries his words? Insecurity. An old teaching received harshly. When a villager promises food but never appears, he feels the sting, but remembers some boats drift from storms unseen. When overlooked for a ceremony, the hurt arrives, but he watches it without drowning. Day by day, his heart grows lighter. The world hasn't changed, but his relationship to it has transformed completely. The most remarkable shift, how he views his own thoughts. Even that inner voice, his harshest critic, began to feel like just another empty boat. I'm not enough. Empty boat. I should be further along. Empty boat. I deserve that pain. Empty boat. He hadn't realized how much energy he spent fighting these collisions. Each recognition, another chain breaking free. Life will continue to collide with you. That part is certain. But now, when words sting or actions disappoint, you have a choice. Before you absorb that pain as proof of your unworthiness, pause. Ask yourself, is this about me? Or just an empty boat carried by currents I cannot see? This doesn't mean you accept harm. It means you stop carrying weight that was never yours, and in that space lies true peace. Think about something you're still carrying, a relationship that ended, words that wounded, a rejection that still stings. What if it's just an empty boat? What if they were carried by currents you couldn't see? How might that change everything? Don't carry it alone. Write it below. Your story may be exactly what someone else needs, and if this found you, pass it on. Someone you know is quietly struggling. Most boats are empty. The collision is just a moment. You are free to keep sailing. Breathe and let it drift. And when the next boat hits, will you remember